Inflation is raging. Now more than ever before, you've got to be strategic with your money. We hear scary forecasts in the news. Inflation is here to stay. It's a prelude to a recession. Gas and food prices are skyrocketing. Many people are struggling financially because of the out-of-control prices. That's why this mini training is dedicated to sharing with you some savvy money management tips you can use to combat inflation. Hello and welcome to the Savvy Money Management Tips During High Inflation mini training series part 2. I'm Millen, Livis, financial independence mentor. I help people who go through unexpected life changes to sort out their money issues now, so they never have to worry about money again. In today's episode, we'll cover the current state of inflation in the US and a few tips you could use to minimize the effects of inflation on your financial life. Let's begin. How do you measure inflation? In the United States, inflation is most frequently measured by changes in the Consumer Price Index, CPI, which is a weighted average of the prices of a hypothetical basket of essential goods and services. While a moderate and consistent inflation, the historical target is 2%, is considered to be a sign of economic health, rapid price increases can have a destabilizing effect on the economy and jeopardize your hard-earned savings. Let's talk about current state of inflation in the US. In simple terms, high inflation is eating away our cash methodically, bite by bite, all the time. Everything is more expensive these days. You don't need me to tell you that. You know that. In the past few years, inflation has stayed quite low, but those years are gone. From May 2021 to May 2022, the Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers increased 8.6%, the largest 12-month increase for over 40 years. The energy index rose 34.6% over the last year, and gasoline prices increased by whopping 48.7%. The food index jumped to 10.1% for the past 12 months ending May 2022, and prices for shelter increased to 5.5%, while new vehicles prices increased to over 13.5% over the last 12 months. The inflation is unlikely to fall to the pre-pandemic levels anytime soon. And most likely it will remain above the federal 2% target for a long time as supply disruptions persist and energy and food prices remain elevated. And these are based on the US Bureau of Labor Statistics information. So what can you do? Now that we established a clear factual picture of the current inflationary environment, what can you do about it? Yes, it's true that the pressures of inflation diminishes the purchasing power of your income, potentially leaving you scrambling to cover rising housing costs and food prices and energy bills and medical expenses and worrying about your retirement savings. But worries are optional, right? Fortunately, there are a few things you can do to keep the effects of rising prices from eating away all your cash and particularly your investment portfolio. Savvy money management tip number 1 is to maintain a flexible budget, right? Flexible budget, which means you're able to temporarily decrease your lifestyle costs during challenging times so that you preserve your savings, avoid making poor timed asset sales, and gain a sense of financial peace. Look, I realize that it's easier said than done, and that not everyone will be willing to do this. But those who do will be rewarded long term. Okay, let's talk about tip number 2. Another important thing that you can do is to plan your money based on your short, medium, and long-term financial goals. So here's the fundamental rule of thumb for savvy money management. For your short-term financial goals, money that you may need in the next 1 to 5 years must be in cash or cash equivalents like money market funds, CDs, or short-term treasury notes. Medium-term financial goals, money for medium-term financial goals must be in medium term is money that you may need in the next 5 to 10 years, right? This money can be in a mix of value stocks, preferably paying stocks that pay dividend, some high potential growth stocks and funds, and some in bonds, like treasury bonds, preferably, okay? Money that you may need for your long-term financial goals, which is money that you won't need for the next 10 years or more. This money can be in stocks, commodities, and possibly real estate. That will help you to have strategic approach to managing your money during, not only during high inflation, but in general, managing your money. And during high inflation, having this awareness of your different strategic intention for your money will really help. Okay, that concludes the part 2 of the Savvy Money Management During High Inflation mini training series. In the next and last episode in this series, we'll talk about what else you can do and what you can invest in to combat the effects of high inflation. In the meantime, if you want to become a strategic investor so that you make your money work for you by successful investing, and successful investing is strategic investing, you can download your Beginner Investor Toolkit for free by clicking on this link, daretochange.live.com/BIT, all lowercase, and just start learning how to be a strategic investor. The time is very important right now to learn how to be strategic with your investments. Okay, so thank you very much for your time and attention today. Have a productive and joyful week, and I will see you next time for the third and last episode in the Savvy Money Management during the inflation series. To your health, wealth, and freedom.